When we work with processing, we spend almost all of our time in processing's own window. So let's take a look at it. Here's a fresh, new processing window. This is on a Mac. If you're on a PC running Windows, your window will look very similar to this. There are some minor differences, which I talk about in the videos for people using Windows. At the top, we have the name of the program that we're writing, also called a sketch. Processing gives this new blank sketch a default name. Rather than calling it unknown or untitled, it makes a name out of today's date. So it's calling this one sketch_des19c. It also shows us which version of processing we're using. Immediately under that is a row of buttons. At the far left are 2 circular buttons, and just next to those are 4 square buttons. The only buttons we care about right now are the 2 round ones. The leftmost round button with the triangle in it is the Run button, and when we click that, we start our program. Next to it is the circle with a square in it, and that's the Stop button. When we click that, we stop our program. Directly underneath the toolbar is a row of tabs. In this case, I have just one tab. Just like how modern browsers have multiple tabs for multiple web pages, so too in processing can you have multiple files open at the same time, each in its own tab. This is great when you're writing a very big program. But for most of this course, we'll need only one tab at a time. The name of the tab is the same as the name of the program. When we save our program and give it a real name, the name of the tab will update as well. Just below the buttons is a big white region. This is just a normal text editor. I want to put some text in here without worrying about actual processing programming, so I'm just going to enter some random junk by bouncing my fingers around on the keyboard. Let's now look at the text editor. As with most text editors, there's a blinking vertical bar that indicates where the cursor is. So if I type a capital Q, it gets entered right where the cursor is located. There are 3 more regions of the window for us to look at. First is this gray bar underneath the text editor. If processing finds an error in your program, this bar will turn dark red and it will show an error message. I'll demonstrate that a little later. The black region near the bottom is called the console area. It shows 2 kinds of information. First, when your program has a problem, processing will describe the problem to you here in detail using red text. Second, your program can print messages directly into this little window. When you print stuff here, it shows up in white. At the very bottom is the line number on the left. All the way on the right is a little resize tool, just like on most windows. By grabbing this and moving, I can change the size of the processing window. So let's make it nice and big. We'll be able to see one other thing now, which is that I can change the size of the black region at the bottom by grabbing the little dot just above it. If I drag up, I can make that region bigger. By the way, just like other text editors, processing offers undo and redo. So I'll type hello, and then I'll just hit Ctrl-Z to undo. And as usual, there's also redo. There's also find. So if I bring up the find dialog, I can search for any string. Since the text is just crazy junk, let's just look for JKL. And then I'll hit find. And processing found it. If you want to replace that text with something else, you can again use the Find dialog box to enter your replacement text. Let's replace JKL with strawberry. When I click Replace, JKL gets turned into strawberry. And of course, you can replace all the occurrences of JKL with strawberry all at once, if you want. That covers all the basics. To see this in action, let's write a little program. First, we'll write a program that runs properly. Then we'll try to run a program with an error, and we'll see what happens when we try to do that. Then we'll fix the error and see how to save. To start over fresh, I'll just delete everything here. I'm going to write a simple one-line program, just like the program we used as a test when we installed processing. I'll have it print out Hello World. This is exactly the way you have to type the program. The word print has to be in lowercase. You need the double quotes and parentheses around hello world on both sides, and you need the semicolon at the end. Just for fun, let's also print out the letters A, B, C, and D. Oops, you can see I typed a capital P. That would have stopped the program from running. The word print has to be in all lowercase. Now we'll talk about all that stuff later, but we're not focusing on programming right now. Now let's run the program. I'm going up to the Run button, and I'll press it. When I clicked the Run button, it turned orange. That tells us the program is running. Processing always creates a graphics window for us every time we run a program. Even though we don't need this right now, I'll move it to the middle of the screen. This is the window where we will draw stuff when we draw stuff. Now, processing creates the window because it figures we always want to draw stuff, so it makes this window just in case. That's very nice of it, but we don't need it right now, so I'll just move it over to the side. Finally, remember that this program is supposed to print Hello World ABCD. And if we look down here in the output area, we can see it did exactly that. It printed Hello World ABCD. I deliberately printed everything on one line, but we can easily put this on multiple lines if we prefer. Now I'll stop the program. Stopping a program in processing is just like stopping a song in your music player. You end the song, but you don't turn off the whole MP3 player. Well, it's the same thing here. We don't stop processing, we just stop this program. To stop the program, you can just close the graphics window. As far as processing is concerned, if there's no graphics window, there's no program. If the graphics window is gone, it just shuts the program down. Alternatively, you can press the stop button. That will also stop the program. They both do the same thing. Very occasionally, if you get yourself into a real pickle, you'll find that the graphics window will not close when you click the close button. It's very rare, but it can happen. If it ever happens that you click the little red button and nothing happens, you can always click the stop button in the processing window instead. So let's stop the program. You'll notice that the Run button is no longer orange and the program is stopped. That wraps up part 1 of this discussion. In part 2, we'll look at how to fix a program with a problem and how to save our work.